This episode of the Nerd Corporation contains spoilers and explicit language. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the Nerd Corporation.
What up, everybody?
Hi.
It's Monday.
It is Monday.
You know what that means?
It's podcast day.
Welcome to episode 7, Tacos. We mean Deadpool.
Deadpool.
Let's go with the nerd news.
First off, if you haven't seen it yet, you suck, because Avengers is almost at $1 billion. That means everybody's damn near seen it.
That's amazing.
That's a lot of fucking money.
Dude, that movie is so good.
If it breaks it, I think it's going to be like the fastest domestic movie, like best-selling movie in like first week or two ever.
Like, yeah, of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which says a lot, because Black Panther was way high on that list, I think.
Yeah, it was.
That movie went viral.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking mad, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody saw that shit coming. I didn't. I mean, I love the character.
Yep.
But I didn't see that shit coming.
And I finally saw it.
And?
I dug the shit out of it. Cherie is my favorite little sister.
I told you were going to enjoy it. That's why it was that more heart-wrenching when she didn't die.
Right?
And fucking... Or did she die?
I don't remember.
Oh, spoilers, by the way. Yeah, we do that. If we don't... Spoilers, if you didn't hear the beginning of the show. Also, I didn't die this week. I told you I was on my deathbed for 4 days, and that's why I sound like shit to all of the people that are out there. Because even when you're dying, you still have to show up for podcast day.
It's true.
Next on the news list, Swamp Thing is getting a live action show.
Ooh, fresh off the news that Warner Brothers' upcoming DC digital service will officially be titled DC Universe.
I hate that.
So fucking original.
It's so dumb.
Stupid.
Like, I mean, they're already waning for me. As said on previous episodes, episode 3, no, Ollie, no. I am not a fan of the digital services being so many. Like, there shouldn't be so many digital. Like, give me 2, Hulu and Netflix.
And then you can have sub
pay for packages,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, like DLC.
Yeah, extra $2, man. You can have the WWE network.
Yep.
Tell me that wouldn't make them money.
It would make them so much money.
But they won't do it. Anyway, not a fan of the digital service packages, whatever the fuck. But I'm excited for the Swamp Thing show.
DC Entertainment has announced that they are developing a live-action Swamp Thing TV series for the streaming service. Furthermore, Aquaman director James Wan is set to executive produce the series, which is eyeing a 2019 debut. The character was previously adapted into a feature film from Wes Craven in 1982. Did you ever see that? No, I never saw it.
You've never seen the Swamp Thing movie?
Never seen
the sequel? Bro.
We're going to have to watch it.
Yeah, you need to. That's got to be a thing. We need to get those movies.
We'll have to grab them.
And then it was a TV show, is in the notes.
Right.
So yeah. It was out around the same time as the original Flash TV show.
Oh, that's cool. Like,
they were probably on different networks and nobody thought of a shared universe, and DC still can't even get that right. But yeah, it was actually, I thought it was good. I mean, to me, Swamp Thing in that show just looked like, and in the movies, he looked like a big thing of walking canned spinach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, whatever. We have, digital imagery now, so fuck you, 91.
Right.
What do we got? Third bit of news we got this week.
Third trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2.
What did you think of that?
Pretty fucking cool.
How do you feel about Red Dead Redemption in general?
I love Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Revolver, Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead Redemption 2, a.k.a.
I never played Red Dead Revolver.
I played Red Dead Revolver.
It
was so much fun.
Like I said, I was a Nintendo kid. Because it was $50, and then it was like $100 for one. And I bought my very first Nintendo 64 on my own dime at the age of like 13.
I was 8. I started off as a Nintendo kid. I was 18, and the first console I ever bought myself was a GameCube because it was only $100, and it came with that Zelda game. And then I bought the GameCube, and it didn't come with the Zelda game, so I'd was like, all right, cool. Well, I'll just hold on to this GameCube until I can afford a new game.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude, and it was like another month before I could even
I would have lost my shit, dude. I would have called Nintendo and been like, what the fuck, bro? I didn't have that issue. I think I had to buy a game with mine, too, but like I said, I was washing dishes. Anyway, fucking, So Red Dead Redemption 2. I actually did play Red Dead Redemption, so I guess that's Red Dead Revolver 2.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, loved. Like, it was one of those games, whenever a new game's coming out, Russell and I usually chat it up.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to Russell Rock. But he usually will tell me a game that he's anticipating and how awesome it is, and he'll just like sell it to me a lot. And the whole time, you know me, I'm Nancy about it. I'm just like, whatever, dude, that game's gonna be whack. Like, it looks good, but it's gonna be whack. Like, fuck that shit.
With your cynic ass.
Skyrim was one of those. GTA 5 was one of those. I was just gonna be whack. And favorite games, like, all times. But Red Dead was one of those too. And I ended up getting so involved in that game. Like, I would literally just log on just to go hunt fucking for 2 hours. Like, I would just turn it and just hunt. Like, homeboy came over one day, and for 2 hours, all we did was just hunt. Like, didn't even do missions or anything. Just went out and got skins so I could make them money.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that was it was, and when I got into the online aspect of it, it was fun too because it was just such an open space. So you could like snipe somebody from like 5 miles away on a hilltop.
Right.
Like, unrealistically, but still.
Right, because they had that whole just line of sight shooting.
But then they would have the death cam, and you would see the dude like way on the hill, like way the fuck far away from you. And every time I'm just like, you motherfucker.
I never thought to do any of that.
Yeah, I would just go wild in that game, and I would troll like a motherfucker. It was so bad. So, I mean, it was essentially, I was the Merc with a mouth. As soon as I got a mic, I was in on it. So, segue.
Speaking of Merc with a mouth.
Shall we talk about tacos? Deadpool, I mean?
Yes, let's talk about Deadpool. Created by artist-writer Rob Liefeld and writer Fabian, I'm going to...
Yeah, butcher it.
Nikiza.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that. I'll accept it.
Deadpool made his first appearance in the pages of the New Mutants number 98 cover dated February 1991.
Have you ever read early Deadpool?
I've never read
It's very straightforward. Like, he's not as like smart-ass and snarky as he is known for now. Like, he starts out pretty straight. And then when he eventually comes into his own, you get the things that he has now, like the little quirks and shit.
Just like really green.
Mm-hmm.
According to Nikiza, Liefeld came up with the character's visual design and name, and Nikiza himself came up with the character's speech mannerisms. Liefeld, a fan of Teen Titans comics, showed his new character to then-writer Fabian Nikiza.
I just think it's going to keep making you say Fabian Nikiza.
Yeah.
I love watching you squirm.
I just hate it. I'm just like,
I just hate it. I hate it so much.
Nicieza.
You get it, brown guy. It's Nicieza.
Nicieza.
But you're saying it Nikiza. And
I'm going to say it
someday
Nikiza.
he's going to hear this in like 10 years and be like, it's Nicieza.
Oh, Nerd Corporation. Angry fist in the sky.
You're assuming that he has an accent too.
I'm gonna.
I love it.
Cultural appropriation.
Hell yeah.
Upon seeing the costume and noting his characteristics, killer with super agility, Nikiza contacted Liefeld saying, "This is Deathstroke from Teen Titans." Nikiza gave Deadpool the real name of Wade Wilson as an inside joke to being related to Slade Wilson, Deathstroke. Other inspirations were Spider-Man and Wolverine, Liefeld states. Wolverine and Spider-Man were the two properties I was competing with at all times. I didn't have those. I didn't have access to those. I had to make my own Spider-Man and Wolverine. That's what Cable and Deadpool were meant to be.
And don't you see that? Like,
yeah.
That's like, in looking at Cable and Deadpool, you're like, okay, I can see the parallels there.
Yeah, Cable and Deadpool, and then Spider-Man and Wolverine.
Yeah, I like I said, I've read some early stuff, and so he wasn't really panned out then. And then the Deathstroke comparison, which has always been funny to me, they showed a thing in the new Teen Titans movie trailer.
Yeah, I came out way before he did.
So really, he's me. And they're just like, no, you're Deadpool. I laughed so hard because I'm like such a mark for Deadpool. It's not even funny.
You are.
I'm like a hipster mark about it. Like,
really
I'm just like, I was Deadpool's fan before any of y'all even knew who that motherfucker. I argued with a guy online, and we just came to the consensus to just stop arguing. Like, nobody won that argument because he was like, well, I've been a Deadpool fan since this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, bitch. I've been and it went for like, I probably argued with him for a span of like 5 to 10 minutes.
Just like measuring Deadpool fanboy dicks.
We were peeing Deadpool in the snow. And I think we both painted an awesome caricature with our wieners.
Was it Deadpool Pikachu?
Dude, I think we discussed that on the Pokemon episode last week. Yeah, with the Bronx. Have you watched that video yet?
I haven't.
Oh my god, Eddie Line. After this shit, we're watching that. Anyway, so yeah, Deadpool, early 90s, awesome, still hadn't panned out, and here he is.
The character's backstory has been presented as vague and subject to change, and within the narrative, he is unable to remember his personal history due to a mental condition. Whether or not his name was even Wade Wilson is subject to speculation, since one of his nemesis, T-Ray, claims in Deadpool number 33 that he is the real Wade Wilson and that Deadpool is a vicious murderer who stole his identity. There have been other dubious stories about his history. At one point, the supervillain Loki...
Yeah, that's right. Loki claimed to be his father. Before you even get to that part, you paused because the way this works, y'all don't know this, but I write up a script. What would you call it? A script. It's not even a script. It's just notes.
It's just like a guideline.
Huge fucking notes forever and days. And he got to the part where it says that fucking Loki at one point claimed to be Deadpool's father.
Yeah, that kind of just like took me by surprise. I was like, "Well, okay." I didn't know that. I'm not very versed in Deadpool, and I didn't know about Deadpool until I met Dr. Nick. So
it's my jam.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's funny when like thinking about that, because who is another favorite comic book character that you have that has really no backstory that they've never really figured out? The Joker. Mm-hmm. There's also parallels. Have you seen the superhero showdown of the Joker and Harley Quinn versus Domino and Deadpool?
Yes.
Loved it.
Yeah,
but that being in amongst the fans throughout there in the universe, Harley Quinn and Deadpool being like the perfect match for each other, as pansexual as Deadpool is, and whenever he gets to wherever, he had like a huge crush on Spider-Man, which has always been funny as fuck to me.
Oh well,
he's Spider-Man.
Naturally,
he's whimsical.
Yeah,
he's like the Paul McCartney of superheroes.
I'm Spider-Man.
I'm whimsical, doing whimsical things. That was the worst fucking Paul McCartney impression ever.
Doing whatever a spider can.
Paul's a big fat cunt. Oh shit. I forgot we were recording. Anyway, so Loki claimed to be his father. Frequently, revelations are later retconned or ignored altogether. One issue, Deadpool himself joked that whether or not he is actually Wade Wilson depends on which writer the reader prefers, which is something I've always said about when people are like, well, Batman would beat Wolverine, and I'm like, honestly, it's whatever the writer chooses. Mm-hmm. It's really not up to you. You can say it all you want, and you know, comic book writers are notorious for pissing people off. So
that's true.
He has professed to be Canadian, which is, I've always known him as Canadian in the movies and the comic books and the cartoons. He's always Canadian. The original story had him joining the Weapon X program after being kicked out of the United States Armed Special Forces and given an artificial healing factor based on Wolverine's, thanks to Dr. Emrys Kilbrew, one of the head scientists. Wade Wilson grew up in Clare, Saskatchewan, and went to school in Wadena, Saskatchewan. I always loved that word. It makes me think of Warner Brothers when they talk about like Cucamonga and
Saskatoon.
Yeah, totally dope. Deadpool is aware that, and this is one of my favorite things, Deadpool's aware that he's a comic book character. This is where he gains his fourth wall breaks and so on and so forth. And there aren't really many characters that do that in general. It's honestly one of the funniest things about him. I've always loved that he's a fourth wall breaker. It's been something... the fact that he acknowledges reality and things that are going on makes him that more intriguing to me.
Yeah.
And one thing I've always liked, too, is that he does have discussions with his inner monologues. Like, there's several different, at all times, boxes on the screen, if you're reading it digitally on the screen, or on the page, if you're old. Or if you just prefer paper to digital. There are just some people that like the smell of the comic book and the feel of the pages, and they're loyalists, and, you know, God forbid that ever they don't make comic books again. and just go fully digital. That would be a horrible medium. Anyway, tons of boxes in the panels. In Deadpool #1, it's revealed that Madcap, a foe of Captain America, is the psychotic voice appearing in white captions with the typewriter serif. And the other voice is unidentified and often mistakenly attributed to Dr. Bong, Deadpool's former psychiatrist.
Deadpool is depicted as having a regenerative healing factor, which not only prevents him from being permanently injured through enhanced cell regeneration throughout his body, but also causes psychosis and mental instability, as his neurons are also affected by the accelerated regeneration. It is thought that while his psychoses are a handicap, they are also one of his assets, as they make him an extremely unpredictable opponent. Taskmaster, who has photoreflexive memory, which allows him to copy anyone's fighting skills by observation, was unable to defeat Deadpool due to his chaotic and improvised fighting style. Taskmaster has also stated that Deadpool is an expert at distracting his opponents. The character, known for his talkative nature, has been nicknamed the Merc with a mouth.
And that's how we love him.
Yes.
Just always talking. I think the fact that he's just so fucking brash is so appealing, because he's just right there the whole fucking time. He's always got something to say. He should have a podcast.
Yeah, he just gives no shits.
Yeah, I would listen to the act. Like, if Ryan Reynolds just had a podcast where he was just Deadpool, I would, every week, I would tune that in.
I'd pay money.
I would too. I would subscribe to his Patreon.
Yeah.
By the way, patreon.com/nerdcore podcast.
Become one of the patrons.
Become one of the Patreons. People, let's do this. Anyway, Deadpool has sometimes been portrayed to have a strong sense of core morality. In Uncanny X-Force, he storms out after Wolverine tries to rationalize Phantom X killing Apocalypse, who was at the time a child. And after Wolverine argues that Deadpool is motivated solely by money, to which Archangel reveals to him that Deadpool has never cashed any of his checks.
Huh. I didn't know that.
So you see what I'm saying? Like, there's layers to this character.
He's like a comic onion.
Yeah. He's definitely, it's interesting. So, that's kind of a backstory a little bit for those, because like I said, we kind of like to bring knowledge to those that don't know. So if you didn't know, now you know.
For a time, writers who followed generally ignored the fourth wall entirely, until Gail Simone took over with issue number 65. Her version is remembered for the frequent use of the little yellow boxes. And
she came up with the Deadpool scooter, which I saw in the fucking trailer, the final trailer. I was watching it again today, and I saw him on the little red, scooter. And I didn't even realize it until she had posted a tweet about it, that there was a picture of Ryan Reynolds with Josh Brolin at some event, and it's him on the Deadpool scooter. Mm-hmm. And she also came up with that.
Nice. For those of us that don't know, what are the little yellow boxes?
Let's see. Oh, they're just the side notes. They're the voices.
Oh, okay.
All the stuff on the side, the fourth wall breaks, where he's talking about current happenings or
gotcha.
referencing something pop culture.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, you caught me off guard with that. I'm like, what is this, Super Mario?
Deadpool lasted until issue number 69, at which point it was relaunched as a new title with a similar character called Agent X in 2002. This occurred during a line-wide revamp of X-Men related comics, with Cable becoming Soldier X and X-Force becoming X-Statix. Simone notes that, when I took the Deadpool job, the revamp hadn't been planned, so it was a complete surprise. Thankfully, we heard about it in time to make adjustments to the early scripts. It appeared that Deadpool was killed in an explosion fighting the supervillain Black Swan. Deadpool's manager, Sandy Brandenburg, later found Agency X with a mysterious man called Alex Hayden, who took the name dubbed Agent X. Deadpool later returned to the series. Simone left the title after 7 issues due to creative differences with the series editor, but then returned to conclude with issues 13 through 15.
Mm-hmm. Gail Simone, awesome writer on the Deadpool series. She's also done some really good stuff with Wonder Woman as of lately, too.
Didn't we reach out to her on Twitter?
I did. I asked her how she felt about if she was excited for Deadpool 2 and if she enjoyed Deadpool 1. And her answer was big yes and bigger yes. So
thank you, Gail Simone, for answering us.
Yeah, thanks for being that guy. We appreciate it. Like I said, go check her out on some Wonder Woman stuff she did recently. Obviously, go check out the Deadpool comics that she worked on. Artisan Entertainment announced a deal with Marvel Entertainment in May 2000 to co-produce, finance, and distribute several films based on Marvel Comics characters, including Deadpool. By February 2004, writer and director David S. Goyer and star Ryan Reynolds were working on a Deadpool film at New Line after working together on Blade Trinity. Reynolds was by far one of the best things about Blade Trinity. So let's not forget also that Blade was like the first Marvel movie. Like, I feel like they need to bring that motherfucker into the MCU. As is, like, his whole backstory that's already happened and everything. Like, I want all three
just
movies
like
canon.
retcon it through.
Just be like, guess what? We already have a story. Now he's Blade. Even if he's just like a Whistler fucking role right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so Ryan Reynolds signed on pretty much because Deadpool had referred to himself as looking like Ryan Reynolds crossed with a Shar-Pei in the comic books. The idea was championed by New Line executive Jeff Katz, who thought Reynolds was the only guy who can play the character, and let's be honest, that's fucking real.
That was the truth.
However, there were rights issues with 20th Century Fox and X-Men films, and the project did not move forward. So in 2000, that motherfucker was already cast as Deadpool.
He was already
and the
ready.
movie didn't even come out until, what, 2016?
Yeah.
So that's 16 years. That's who he was. He was Deadpool. Like, no wonder. You spent 16 years preparing for a role, you're never turning back.
Yeah, you nail it. By March 2005, Fox had expressed interest in a film featuring Deadpool, and the character was set to make a cameo appearance in 2009, X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Can we just stop for a minute and talk about X-Men Origins Wolverine?
Yes.
I felt like because when they announced that movie, they announced like they were going to do the Wolverine one, and then there was supposed to be a Magneto one that happened too, that actually never happened.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm kind of happy for, but kind of sad about it at the same time, because I like Michael Fassbender as Magneto, but maybe that's what X-Men First Class was and such, you know, was kind of like a re-origin thing for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like X-Men Origins Wolverine was, I mean, it could have been, it's not as bad to me as everybody thinks it is.
I loved it, dude.
I didn't think it was the best. I liked what they did with Sabretooth. I liked what they did with, like, I have always liked what they did with Wolverine. Like, he's pretty much what's been right. Like, he just hasn't been done properly until they did Logan. I just watched Logan again the other day, like, literally yesterday, because I've been dying. So I've been, you know, going over movies and shit. So I rewatched Logan. It was last night.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking A. And I just remembered how much I love that character. So Wolverine, Sabretooth, Gambit, Jesus Christ, they could have done without that.
I think Gambit and Weapon, what is it, X2 or whatever?
We talking like Deadpool?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I don't want to refer it to Deadpool.
Well,
I don't want to call it Deadpool.
Well, his name was Wade. Well, okay, so
like, I like what they did with Wade Wilson
Uh-huh.
in that movie, but what they turned him into was whack as fuck.
Yeah, so it was definitely whack as fuck, and I don't like the way that they called him Deadpool. Like, they referred to basically his composition as the Deadpool. Like, when they took Cyclops' eyes, they were like, put him in the Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, like, I assume that all of the powers that he never had in the comic books that they decided to give him for this movie came from the Deadpool, which is just, you know, students who lost their powers to some shit. And I wasn't down for that. Also wasn't down for the laser beam eyes, because he's not Cyclops. And the Baraka arms.
Yeah, the Baraka arms.
Like, what the fuck was that, dude?
Yeah.
The whole character was just dumb. But they did get the Wade Wilson character in the beginning of the movie very spot on.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, I feel like the Wade Wilson character in the Deadpool movie is, like, more refined than that Deadpool or Wade Wilson. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, that was a pretty accurate portrayal.
His role was expanded during the production of that film. Katz was an executive at Fox by that point and said that Deadpool was nicely set up to be explored in his own way in a future film. The film's portrayal deviates from the original comic character, imbuing him with several superpowers and sewing his mouth shut. The character also apparently dies in the film, though a post-credit scene showing the character still alive was added to the film shortly before its release.
Now, also, do you remember they had multiple... They had like 2 or 3 different endings to that.
I
like
only remember the
scene.
Deadpool one.
There was, well, because that's what I said. They had like 2 or 3 different ones. You might not have seen that one. Mm-mm. Then another one was him getting like a briefcase that had like the original Wolverine. Oh wait, no, that was the next one, the Wolverine movie. But there was something. There was one with him like getting up and walking away, or I don't know, man. I remember there being multiples, at least 2. Because I remember hoping, I had read online that there were 2, and one of them was supposed to be like Deadpool Comes Alive, and that was the one I was hoping to see. Yeah. And so that when that was the one I saw, I like freaked out. I was like, oh my god, oh, because I didn't like what they had done with him. I didn't like the black spots on his masks were like his eyes, like above around his eyes. Yeah. That shit was just way too much for me. It was
like, no thank you.
that was stupid. And this is why, Fox, you should fucking give up your rights to fucking... This is why this deal needs to happen.
Like now.
Because you got a couple hits, I'll give you that. But it's way late in your career. It's about time to retire. Mm-hmm.
Let's just add that Fox Stone to the Disney gauntlet and get it over with.
I loved that GIF when I saw that, by the way. The Mickey Mouse with the Infinity Gauntlet dropping networks in there and shit. That shit is real, son.
After the successful opening weekend of Wolverine, Fox officially began development on Deadpool, with Reynolds attached to star and X-Men producer Lawrence Schuler Donner involved. The spin-off was set to ignore the Wolverine version of Deadpool and go, quote, back to the roots of the character known for his slapstick tone and propensity to break the fourth wall, end quote.
And we needed that. All of it.
Yeah, we did.
I loved that there was this long, hard road to get this movie made. Like, thinking about it, the time frame. Like, we started in 2000. Where we're at now is probably, like, closer to 2006, 2007-ish. Mm-hmm. And it just keeps going. In that time, though, Ryan Reynolds did make the Green Lantern movie, which I don't necessarily... I didn't... Okay, so here's how much... hold the fucking train, okay?
Hold the phone.
You just hold on. I got shit to say real quick. So, the Green Lantern movie had, like, 2 or 3 good points... in the movie, you know what I'm saying? Love Ryan Reynolds, so I watched the fucking movie. But I was so quick to turn that movie off, leave the theater even, that I didn't stay for any after credit scenes because I didn't even think about it. Because DC didn't do that at that time. That wasn't their shtick. They were trying to break the mold. We're gonna stick and be DC, and that's dumb. You should, when you can be DC or Marvel, always be Marvel, unless you can be DC. Which makes no sense, but whatever.
Yeah, I was like, where are you going with that, Doc?
Well, what I'm saying is DC has great characters and great storylines that are never adapted properly. They can never, unless it's in animated form, have they rarely ever fucking had a hit out of the ballpark. And so until they get that right, be Marvel, because they seem to be doing fine. So that's what I was getting at.
I'm nodding my head in agreement. I can't see that, but I'm nodding my head in agreement.
So I didn't know that there was an after-credits scene to that movie, though. But there is an after-credits scene. One day I was letting it play, and it just happened. Like, I was doing something else, and I looked over, and it was Sinestro with the yellow ring, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, fucking, like, I ain't even playing. It was like 5-6 years later. It was just the most random thing. I was like, holy shit, there was an after-credits scene to that movie? Like, I wanted to call everybody and be like, did you know?
They all knew, probably.
And everybody probably knew, because nobody was as critical of it as I was, because you know how I get with shit. Yeah. Venom.
Shut up.
So, the Green Lantern superhero film, it was released in 2011 and was, quote, a disaster from Dr. Nick, tainting the project, which Fox executive were already concerned with due to its R-rated content. The studio agreed after several meetings that the film could not be reconfigured to a more traditional PG-13 rating and gave Miller a low six-figure budget to produce some test footage. And we all saw that test footage. Did you ever see the test footage?
The leaked footage or whatever?
Yeah, that was when that came out. I swear to God, I watched it like 20 million fucking times.
Yeah, dude.
So Tim Miller created that footage with CGI at his animation company, Blur Studios, in 2012. With the successful release of The Avengers, Reese and Wernick thought Deadpool may have been approved as an already developed superhero film, but Fox was even more doubtful of the script then, and began exploring ways to potentially include Deadpool in an Avengers-esque team-up film, X-Force. At different times during development, James Cameron and David Fincher, both friends with Miller, read the film's script and championed the project to executives. So James Cameron, Mr. fucking hate on the Avengers and the Avengers movement and comic books and shit.
Mr. Giants with hair genitals.
Like, fucking, you just be happy you got Zoe Saldana for the next whatever... however 13 movies you're gonna film at once or whatever the fuck it is you're doing. So dumb.
He's gonna turn himself into a robot and wait 50 years.
He is gonna be one of those blue creatures by the time fucking he's done with that.
Or he's gonna be like the Simpsons heads, the ones that like stay alive for the future or whatever.
Yeah.
So he can wait for the technology.
Oh, Futurama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Futurama. That's right.
Yeah, no. I could see that though. Him being just one of those decapitated fucking animated heads. Talking about, we're making fucking Avatar 27.
We're just waiting on the technology to happen.
So dumb, dude.
Like that's what happened with the first Avatar. The first Avatar was written right after he wrote Titanic.
Really?
Yeah, and he just sat on it and waited until the technology came to
Jesus, George Lucas.
Yeah.
It took him 30 fucking years to get it. Or no, like 20. Because what? The last Star Wars came out in like 83. And then fucking 99 or 2000 is when we got episode 1.
Yeah.
So, like, fucking... That's a lot of fucking... That's like 27 years.
Yeah, dude.
Or some shit.
Yeah, but, like, he sat on it right after he wrote it and then just, like, waited until the technology came to be and then made the movie.
No thanks.
So I figure that's what he's doing with the second one. He's like, okay, well, it's time to up the ante, so when something new and cool comes out, I'm just going to drop Avatar 2 from there.
Yeah, but... Why make 4 more at the same time?
That's ridiculous. I don't understand.
Like they're making like 5 or 6, and he's filming them all at once. Like he's like straight up. He's like, guess what? We're filming this shit for like 6-7 years straight. Everybody be ready. Like, can you imagine? No wonder Linda Hamilton divorced that dude. Like, if that's the guy that he is, like, women complain about men not being home for whatever reasons.
7 years of like directorial shit.
And that's all he's doing right now is sitting in his fucking office talking and writing that fucking language and fucking deeper into the fucking shit than he ever thought before. The fact that he invented a whole fucking written language for this shit is ridiculous to me. I'm just like, man, I barely got time to boil water for ramen, and you're gonna go over here and spend 7 years making a movie while writing the language and all this shit? No.
No, thank you.
So, to quote... What is that? Oh, yeah. To quote Ryan Reynolds, I would have leaked the test footage if I would have known it would have caused that. Now we get to make the movie. We don't get to make it with the budget of most superhero movies, but we get to make it the way we want to make it. He said that because, like I said, in 2014, the footage was leaked online and was met with overwhelming enthusiasm, as I had expressed a couple seconds ago when I discussed how I watched that shit religiously after it came out for, like, fucking ever.
Yeah, no, I remember him hitting me up. Eddie Line,
did you see it?
Did you see it?
Did you see it?
Did you see it? I'm like, see what, bro? What the fuck are you talking about? No, bro, you have to see it. I'm like, well, you still haven't fucking told me what you want me to see.
Fucking Deadpool, bro. He was real. He's real. He's fucking real.
He's real.
That September, Fox officially gave Deadpool a release date of February 12th, 2016, but the actual release date, as we know, was February 14th. Production was set to begin in March 2015, with Simon Kidberg joining as producer. Writers had discussed leaking the footage themselves before, and Reynolds initially thought that Miller had leaked the footage. He later believed that the leak came from someone at Fox. In exchange for being able to make the film how they wanted to make it, though, Fox gave the crew a much smaller budget than typical superhero films. And I remember reading that when they were making it, that it was this super low budget thing, but they essentially just, you know, made that shit work and murdered it. It was the movie that we all know. It was released, like I said, on February 14th, 2016. So
16 years after they've been trying.
16 years, yeah.
16
long years. And it took
years.
leaking the footage, the test footage, 2 years after the test footage was made. Like, it didn't. The footage was made in 2012. Footage leaked in 2014. Movie came out in 2016.
What a road, dude.
That's a 4-year timeline.
What a road. And that's a great movie, dude.
It's yeah, and the fact that it hadn't been made before. I mean, I almost feel like they had to wait that long, though, because I don't think that people of the year 2000 could accept the Deadpool movie for what it was.
Oh, no. We could have had 2016 Deadpool in 2000.
No, that wouldn't have been a thing. I was extremely pleased with the movie. As we had discussed before, I saw it like 5 or 6 times in theaters.
You did?
It was the only movie that wasn't a Star Wars movie that I saw prior to the Avengers Infinity War, like at a midnight release type deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't even going to do that. I didn't even have anyone to go with. We were just talking about the homeboy not going to... I saw Deadpool. I bought 2 tickets just in case somebody wanted to go, and nobody could go, so I went by myself. And, like, 'cause I don't give a shit. I'm just like, whatever, I'm seeing this fucking movie. And the whole row behind me was, like I said, college kids just yelling at each other down the line. Oh my god, bro, did you hear that? And I'm just like, I fucking hate this shit. I hate all of you.
Stop it.
Well, because, I mean, like I said, I'm an asshole like that. When I go to a movie, I don't like yelling and screaming and shit like that. And, you know, like with the Avengers movie, that was the thing. Everybody was yelling and screaming and so on and so forth. And, I mean, I accept it now. That's just going to happen if you go to a premiere like that. Or, you know, within the first week or 2 of it coming out. But me, man, I don't do that shit. I'm like, shh, motherfucker, shh. There are jokes. I'm trying to hear the fucking jokes.
I'm missing all of this.
He just broke the 4th wall and I didn't even hear it. He looked at me, but I can't read his lips.
He watched because they're covered.
Exactly.
I saw what you were doing.
So, I mean, and that's probably why I saw it 5 more times.
That's pretty cool.
So that I could make sure that I got all of... I got to take it all in, Eddie Line.
That's right. But you have to.
I totally fangirl over Deadpool.
You really do.
I do.
You really do. It's so funny to watch him just like... It's like watching women get wild over the Beatles.
Yeah, it is. I can attest to that. Sometimes I have to take a step back and check myself. On that note, I watched my first Celine Dion music video all the way through.
Because it was the Deadpool one. Yeah. Oh my god, dude.
Did you watch it?
Oh, it was the most beautiful thing. My favorite part of that music video was when Celine Dion would say, "Heaven, I pray to God," and she would do the...
I didn't see that.
She would go, "Heaven, I pray to God." She'd do like the crucifix and then open her arms out wide. She'd be like, "Heaven, I pray to God." And it was just the funniest thing ever. You know, that video, if you guys haven't seen
it's called Ashes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and it's... I never thought I would say this, and maybe it's because I'm old now, but it's actually a decent song. Like, for a Celine Dion song, it sounds like Celine Dion. It's whatever, but you know Ryan Reynolds is the one that requested that. He's like, we need Celine Dion. We don't do this soundtrack without Celine Dion.
Right? It's just that, can beauty come out
oh my God,
of ashes? And fucking Deadpool in heels is fucking spinning around pirouetting.
When I noticed that Deadpool was in heels, I lost it. I was like, look at him go.
I was just like,
look at him.
Just like,
so good.
It was the best thing. And then at the end, when he's just like, hey, we kind of need to...
Maybe bring it down a notch. Like, you're at an 11. Like, I need you down at like I say that all the time. Like, that's a thing. That, all right, you're like at a 12. I need you at like a 3.
Yep.
So he says that essentially, and then Celine is just like...
she's just like, this only goes to 11.
Get out of here, Spider-Man. I laughed so hard at that line, too. I was like, get out of here. And somebody... funny because I posted it. And I was like, get out of here, Spider-Man, or like, thank you, Spider. Something
beat
to the
it,
effect of,
Spider-Man.
yeah, I think is what I said. That was because that's the quote, is beat it, Spider-Man, or some shit like that. And somebody was like, it's Deadpool, actually. I was like, obviously, you didn't watch to the end of that music video, or you would have understood the reference. Because, you know, for my first Celine Dion song, that was a good one.
right?
I was pretty happy with that one.
I love it because she was like, thank you very much. Because she does that.
Yeah.
She's thank you very much.
I don't know. I don't Celine Dion.
No, I only know because Ariana Grande makes fun of her doing it. And she does a great Celine Dion impression.
She does a lot of good impressions as far as singers go. I
Yeah.
watched a thing with her and Jimmy Fallon today where I tripped out.
Yeah.
But I don't listen to a lot of popular music, so I don't understand a lot of the references.
Yeah.
Because I'm a fucking hermit.
You're all old cynic is what you are, you son of a bitch.
That's how I fucking roll. That's just what it is.
Plans for a sequel to Deadpool began before that film's release and were confirmed in February of 2016. Though the original creative team of Reynolds, Reese, and Wernick and director Tim Miller were quickly set to return for the second film. Miller left the project in October 2016 due to creative differences with Reynolds and was soon replaced by Leach. And it releases May 18th, 2018.
Which is in like a week. Oh shit, dude, that's May. Oh my god, dude, I just realized I have that's a lot of shit going on May 18th for me.
Yeah.
I can't even go see that shit opening weekend. I've got stuff going on.
We can catch the Tuesday.
We'll have to do it. Well, yeah, we'll have to do that. That's going to have to be a thing.
The $5 Tuesday.
Let's do that. See, look at that shit. So, I'm going to have to stay off the internet. Because, well, you know what? Fuck that. I've already read the entire plot as far as I know. From what I understand, spoilers, possible spoilers, because I don't usually throw, weight on shit that I read on the internet until I've actually seen it. But I will say that the Avengers spoilers that I read were 100% spot on.
It's true.
And I read the Deadpool spoilers, the entire fucking plot, on the same fucking thread. So, spoilers, possible spoilers. Juggernaut's going to be a thing, so we'll actually get to see Colossus versus Juggernaut finally for once in our fucking lives. For those that don't know, Colossus v Juggernaut is like way better than McGregor and Mayweather. Is that even a thing anymore? Do people even care about those guys? I don't do boxing.
I think rumor. If there's a rumor that Mayweather wants to get into the octagon,
He must be going broke.
and and of course he's gonna lose it, right? Because whatever, this shit is rigged now, anyways.
So yeah, Colossus v Juggernaut is definitely better.
Yeah, I would agree.
McGregor Mayweather. So that could be a thing. I've also, in that spoiler, I read that they were going to do something along the lines of the Avengers where most of the X-Force team dies in the movie. Also, said main villain for the movie is supposed to be Black Tom Cassidy, and he is the brother of Banshee, if you don't know, the famous Irish X-Man with his, screaming powers, like the world's greatest metal singer of all time.
Right.
So I don't know that they'll reference Banshee. They did have Banshee, I think, in like one of the first two X-Men movies as like a 12-year-old kid or some shit.
Yeah.
He just like screams at someone. I don't know. But I would hope that they would reference Black Tom Cassidy's lineage, like, and say maybe he has a brother. I would be okay with that.
I would imagine.
But there are hints to Juggernaut being in the movie. There is a scene where they're in the truck. You saw the transport truck that
right.
they're trying to hijack, where there's a thermal readout, and it's a pretty big framed guy that's pretty well shaped like Juggernaut. And then there's also a brief glimpse of Colossus punching what looks to be like a welded dome. For those that don't know, we did get the Juggernaut in, what was that, X-Men 3?
Yeah.
I'm Juggernaut, bitch.
Vinnie Jones.
Yeah, Bullet Tooth Tony.
Me, I'm Juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan.
I liked it just because it was Vinnie Jones.
I was okay with Vinnie Jones. I wasn't okay with how he looked. Let's be honest, first three X-Men movies didn't get costumes right. And, I mean, that's not even to say that, like, X-Men Origins and Wolverine and Logan even got costumes right, because essentially they just had Logan in civilian costume at that point.
Yeah.
There's a deleted scene, I think, where at the end of X-Men, or Wolverine, where he goes to Japan, he gets gifted a suitcase that has the original Logan costume in it, or Wolverine costume in it, with, like, the fucking cowl and the gloves with the, like, metal fucking shits.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but that's, like, the extent of that. So, they never got the costumes right. And I don't even think superhero costumes got right until Marvel took over.
It's true.
Daredevil had an accurate costume, obviously, in the first Daredevil movie.
Daredevil had an accurate costume.
The only thing that you have to put on Ghost Rider is a leather coat and a flaming head, so, I mean, you really can't fuck that up as far as looks go. Fantastic Four is usually in a blue suit with some number 4 on it. I don't care if the 4 is black or white. I'm not, racially biased here. Yeah, man. Other than that, there's not really a history of especially, well, okay, so let's say in the X-Men movies, there's not really a history of comic book accurate costumes.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, at least X-Men 2 was good.
Yes. X-Men. I liked X-Men 2.
And, I mean, Spider-Man 2 was good. Spider-Man 1 was meh. I didn't like the Power Ranger Green Goblin.
Yeah. I don't know.
See, that's on the list of shitty fucking costumes right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's not even get into Spider-Man 3's Venom.
Right.
Dr. Octopus, it's kind of hard to fuck up because, like I said, lab coat, 4 arms on his back.
Yep.
Boom. That's all you got to really do. So.
And the Black Spidey outfit was actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I could dig that.
The symbiote. Not symbiote.
Symbiote.
Or symbiote.
Yeah, I'll take that one too. But symbiote.
Yeah.
It's just gross.
I'm sure they're going to audio correct that.
They need to check her with her Bronx accent. Little do I know that she has a Bronx. I don't know that. I had to think of an ugly speak. Something that just sounds gross when you hear it.
Like Long Island talk?
Long Island talk. I guess I don't even know if that's because I've never been to the East Coast, so I don't know. I'm not to the Northeast Coast, but to the Southeast Coast. Anyway, but I mean, I always refer to there's an episode. Are you familiar with the show News Radio?
No.
Okay, so there's a show. Old school heads may know it. News Radio. Phil Hartman, and there's a character Moira Tierney. Are you familiar with this actress?
Mm-hmm.
She's on it. And one day she gets tricked into like a what do they call it? A speech coach comes in and they're like, "You have something." There's like, "You have a sibilance S." Oh, it's not even that. It's Phil Hartman. He's like, "You have a sibilance S," and she's like, "No, I don't." And he's like, "Yeah, you do." And he works with her, and then he breaks her accent. Like he fucking. She went through speech training as a kid to lose this like Long Island, New York accent, and fucking he breaks her accent, and she reverts back to that, and everybody's just like, "Oh, why are you speaking so ugly at me?" And so that's why I make that reference to that Long Island accent.
Long Island.
Yeah, man. I don't even remember what the conversation was prior to that. The ramblings of a high man.
Yeah.
So anyway, really excited for the Deadpool 2 movie. With all of the possibility that's out there, Deadpool and Cable, they're even making an X-Force movie. And I read a thing where the director, David Leitch, had said that the X-Force movie would be the X-Force movie, so it would be like Deadpool on a team. By the way, we're getting X-Force in this movie. Right. I think what they say, it's Shatterstar, Bedlam, Zeitgeist, Domino, Deadpool, and Patrick.
Patrick's my dude.
And then, so, like, the X-Force movie will be that, but then Deadpool 3 will be a Deadpool-focused movie. Okay. So I think they're essentially just using Deadpool 2 as a catalyst to pop off the X-Force into its own thing. Oh, okay. And I think I even seen in the trailer, Deadpool in his gray costume at one point, like a quick clip of it. And I was just like, oh. So, fucking stoked for this movie. It's going to be super awesome. All of the spoilers to come, because I ain't going to be able to shut up about that shit. I imagine Nick Lewis will probably see it opening night and then get revenge on me. And just be like, "Oh, you ain't seen Deadpool 2 yet, Dr. Nick?
You need to watch it."
What? Mm-hmm. Oh, look let me put spoilers on your shit that make no general reference at all. It's just random shit that I saw in the movie, but pictures of it. So anyway, the question of the week for next week would be, name your favorite Doctor and why. Obviously, it's me. But we're actually discussing Doctor Who, which is a topic that I don't have any knowledge on. Whatsoever.
None whatsoever. And I'll actually be taking the helm on this one. My favorite Doctor would have to be David Tennant. He did Series 2 in 2006, Series 3 in 2007.
And he was the Purple Man, right?
Yeah, he's Kilgrave in Jessica Jones. His Doctor, to me, was just that just right amount of quirk. That right amount of je ne sais quoi.
He has a certain I don't know what, as the French say.
And so...
You know what? I will say, I have seen, I think it would be season 9, which would be like the first season of the newer Doctors. Because I think the Doctor that I like is the 9th Doctor, because it's the only season I ever watched. And I started to watch the 10th season, and I was just like, it's more of the same shit from last season. I'm just going to be done with this. But my son loves Doctor Who and has seen all of them, like, from season 1. Because I guess the show goes from like
it goes to,
like 50 years or some shit.
Yeah, it goes out. It goes way back into the 60s.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then like it goes into the 60s, and then in the 60s they had like little they just had like little mini series. So it was like these 3-episode series where Doctor Who goes on this like crazy adventure and then he like leaves. You know what I mean? And so, every season regenerating into another Doctor. And, like, they did that, I think, well into the 70s. They stopped, and then back in 2005, they decided to reboot the character. And that's when they reboot with, what is his name? Chris Eccleston.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm talking about, the 9th one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That being the only season that I've ever watched, because I stopped after that. I was like, nah, I'm good.
Oh, you should really watch the David Tennant and Matt Smith series.
I will be watching several episodes of Doctor Who to get ready for this episode, so that I have something to say, be it negative or positive. I'm going to hit up my expert, my son Nicholas, who knows everything about Doctor Who there is to know. What he knows about Star Wars, he knows about Doctor Who.
Oh, I bet. It's really like...
Yeah, that child takes fandom to another level. Like, he puts us to shame. Like, we know shit collectively, that's respectable.
But he knows more than
he's like
both
God
of us.
status, bro. Like... It's funny. I'm just like, okay, like, perfect example. You know how your kids will tell you about random shit that you don't give a fuck about? Like, it's essentially just like reading the ingredients on a bottle of ketchup to you.
Right.
That's how he is with everything as far as fandoms go.
That's amazing.
Like, and it's amazing to me. Like, I respect the shit out of it, but at some point I always kind of like...
drift off.
I'm just like, oh, and I gotta go to the store, and I gotta... oh my god, I gotta fart. Hold on. Oh shit, he's still talking. Hey, oh my god, the AT-AT, and it was on Naboo, you say?
He's gonna correct you.
Yeah, he is. He's gonna hit me up. He's like, when the fuck did I ever ask you that? And I'm just gonna be like, nothing, never. Because that child is an avid listener. It cracks me up.
So please let us know who your favorite Doctor is and why, and we'll talk about it on next week's show.
And as always, you can find us on social media, all of the social medias.
Facebook, The Nerd Corporation.
Twitter and Instagram at NerdCorp Podcast.
You can email us at nerdcorppodcast@gmail.com.
And for those looking to continue the journey into Eternia and obtain the power of Grayskull, please join our Patreon at patreon.com/nerdcorp podcast. Several tiers of loot to be had, from ringtones to giveaways
to shoutouts and bonus episodes.
We would like to apologize to our guest this week, Marina Baccarin, for not being able to get to you. Hopefully you can come back another time, and as we had said with Scarlett Johansson, please come back and talk about Ryan Reynolds with us. Or just come and hang out, because you're like Superfly.
Firefly, even.
I see what you did there. For those that don't know, the Nerd Corporation podcast is pro-consent, as we haven't gone an episode without saying that. We needed to let you know.
So once again, for the Nerd Corporation, I'm Eddie Lyon.
I'm Dr. Nick.
Until next Monday, stay classy, Corporation.
Okay, Ron Burgundy.
What the fuck? It's just, I'm trying to pay tribute to the man.
Yeah, okay, I got your fucking tribute hanging over
you,
here.
Man, you've always got to talk shit. You can't ever just let me have